So here we are inside one of the container farms. I could call it that, right, Shannon?
Yes.
And Shannon, what's behind us here? It's beautiful, first of all, and it looks delicious enough to pick and eat.
Which you absolutely can.
Oh, I can?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Can I take this one?
Absolutely.
Is it going to ruin anything?
No, it's nice and clean.
Look at that.
So what you see behind us is Scarlet Kale. It's an heirloom kale variety that actually becomes more burgundy as it matures.
Wow, this is delicious. And you talk about fresh.
So one of the reasons why you can eat it right off the stalk is because we don't use any chemicals or fertilizers in the entire farm.
How did all of this start, Shannon?
It really started as a backyard experiment. And just as most things in Florida, by the time May hit, we realized that we really had a limited growing season. Most things were dying. So we were trying to figure out how can we climate control, and we ended up with the container idea. So we control absolutely everything inside of this container. So it's 60 degrees in here right now, which is the optimal temperature for leafy greens.
Okay.
It's 60 degrees. We also control the humidity. Ideal humidity is 60 to 70% humidity. We try to keep it at about 65. We also control the wind. So if you can hear that hum a little bit, we have 4 commercial fans that are simulating wind, which is very important for the plants. So all of the technology in this farm is third party. We didn't invent anything.
Got it.
We didn't invent anything at all. The growing towers, the sensor readings, a lot of this technology is used for growing in warehouses. We just figured out how to adapt it and modify it for a much smaller space.
So you have 3 refrigerated containers. How many are you expanding to? What's the long range look like?
So instead of thinking about it from a container perspective, if we think about it from acreage, so each container is between 1 to 2 acres per month. So we harvest and go through an entire container every 4 weeks.
Why aren't more people doing what you're doing?
Indoor farming, not necessarily shipping containers, but even warehouses, is much more common in the Northeast, Canada, the Northwest, where people think more about the winter time and the challenges in growing in the winter. It's also very popular in densely populated countries, like Asian countries.
Now let's talk about the neighborhood, because this is a warehouse district.
It is.
When you found this piece of property, what was it like?
Honestly, it should have scared us away. It was an ugly junkyard. It had about 30 feet of industrial waste, cars, boats, mystery drums. And so we purchased it with a vision, and it took us about 8 months to clear the property. The idea of taking a junkyard and turning it into a city farm, I don't know what we were thinking.
Why Brick Street?
We really didn't want a traditional name, but we wanted something that conveyed an urban image in your head without saying it. So we also live on a brick street, the farm's on a brick street, so it all just came together. It's really been an interesting journey. Now, we were city residents before the farm, but now being business owners in St. Petersburg, the support, the community enthusiasm that we've been getting has just, I couldn't have expected the welcoming nature that we've had here. And so we really want to make Brick Street Farms basically an interesting destination, a full encompassing experience that you can be down here. So that's what we hope to grow into, literally.
And this is what it's all about, when you get to taste the hard work that you've put into all of these greens. Shannon, I have never, and I mean this, ever tasted leafy greens this good.
You can actually taste the leafy greens.
You're doing something right.